Welcome. Thanks for coming to practice with me this morning. So today's practice, if you read the invitation, kind of intimidating, questioning what is a yoga, is that stuff that we do every week? How does that fall into the tradition? And pretty big questions. I've been so fortunate over this last year to be able to study virtually with so many good teachers and instructors, and enhance my teaching credentials in a way that wouldn't have been possible if I had to travel and incur all the time and expense to do that. But that being said, what I learned is that with regard to the origins and authenticity of yoga practices, there isn't one yoga, and there never has been throughout its long history, thousands of years. It's never been one thing. And so in a way, that's kind of discouraging, because I'm sure, like me, you learned in a particular way that this is yoga, this is the right way to do it. But it turns out that there are just a vast number of practices, dozens of lineages, and in a way that's kind of confusing and disappointing. But in another way, it's very free. It lets us be free to practice without that overlay of ancient tradition, and lets us be free to practice without that expectation that it's really something very ancient and special. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And what I kind of liken it to, we're going to get there in a minute. What I kind of liken it to is that first really warm day in the spring when you can walk outside without your hat and jacket. It's kind of freeing. Yeah. Or early in the summer, you might just decide to kick off your shoes and socks and go walking in the grass, kind of freeing. So let's, with that in mind, let's just get started and move and breathe and have our being, and without a lot of overlay of what the practice should be or so, beginning by just standing in an ordinary way. Yeah. And for the time being, no mountain pose, no special standing. Beginning to move by sweeping your arms up overhead, but see if you can unhook the tendency to synchronize breathing and moving, so that arms move for sure. Breath just does whatever it does. Doesn't have to synchronize, doesn't have to do anything special. Kind of a way of freeing ourselves from some of these ideas that we've taken to be gospel, that, well, they're one way, but they're not the only way. All right, next time arms are down, let's see, there. On this next little practice, I like to find the top of my sternum, top of my breastbone, and the bottom of my breastbone. And then paying attention to my breath as I lift my breastbone up towards the sky and tip my head and chin up. And notice how that spontaneously inspires an inhale. Let's follow that inclination by sweeping arms up again on an inhale. Arms come up, gazing up, looking up, inhaling up, exhaling down. And for the time being, just arms lifting, chest lifting, gaze lifting, no heels lifting. Feet stay planted, grounded, just like they are. All right. I'm going to turn sideways while you keep this inspiration of rising up on the inhale. And then we'll take this right into some sun salutations and we'll build on those. Next time, arms sweep up, anticipate you're going to fold out of this upward. Exhale, folding, coming all the way down. Fingertips on the floor, knees are bent. Pausing here for just a moment. And then on an inhale, tipping your hips forward to lift. Torso, neck, and head. Exhale, all the way upside down. Inhale, sweeping up. And exhale, arms down. So like one more, a little bit faster. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, folding. Beautiful lift, inhale. Upside down, exhale. Sweep it up, inhale. Let's build on that, add the dog pose. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Bit of a lift. Upside down. Hands and knees. And curling toes under, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Pausing here for just a moment. Keeping your knees bent. No need to stretch your hamstrings here. Got some great hamstring stretches coming up a little bit later. Inhale, coming to hands, knees. Exhale, stepping forward, fold. Beautiful lift. Exhale, upside down. Sweep it up, inhale. Arms down, exhale. Let's add the plank pose. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, fold. Beautiful lift. Upside down, exhale. Hands and knees. Inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, hands and knees. And pausing here. Bringing those knees back away from your hands. Oh, probably 4 inches or so. So that when hips come forward, knees, hips, shoulders, ears, all align. On an exhale, lowering yourself down, all the way down. Inhale, coming right back up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, hands and knees. Stepping forward, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, upside down. Sweep it up, inhale. Arms to the side, exhale. Yeah. So one more of those full sun salutations. And if you're so inclined, we get to that plank pose, maybe doing plank pose, full plank pose rather than from your knees. Let's see what happens when we get there. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, fold. Beautiful lift. Upside down, exhale. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, hands and knees. Bringing those knees back just a bit. And then it's either kneeling plank or from the toes plank. Exhale, lowering yourself down. Inhale, coming right back up. Let's come to hands and knees first. Let's step forward, fold. Beautiful lift, inhale. Upside down, exhale. Let's stay here, pause here. See if you can inhale deep and full right between your shoulder blades. Moving those shoulder blades and collarbones. Exhale right here. And we'll come onto the floor. Coming on down. Coming seated at first. And then coming onto your back with knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor. Yeah, so after a round of sun salutations, pretty traditional yoga movements, something right here, next couple movements, kind of pre-yoga stuff. stuff that activates particular muscle groups so that we can get more of the potential benefit out of those upcoming traditional postures. So drawing your knees in towards your chest and noticing how your lower back imprints into the floor. See if you can keep that lower back imprinted into the floor, at least moving towards the floor. As you exhale, tap both toes down. Inhale and back up. So up and down like that, best you can, keeping lower back touching the floor. And if it pops up ever so slightly, still the intention that it's moving down towards the floor rather than popping up to the ceiling. Yeah, toning, activating abdominal muscles. One more exhale down, inhale up. All right, keeping that right knee pulled in, tucked in, extending your left leg out straight along the floor. And then both hands reaching to support the thigh of that right leg so that it's more or less perpendicular to the floor. And then drawing your toes towards your knee on that bent leg, upper leg, toes pulling towards the knee, heel extended out away. And then inhale, taking that foot up towards the ceiling. And then pointing your toes pointing, leading the way back to home base. So it's heel extended, coming up, then it's toes extended, coming down. Just a couple more of those. Perhaps noticing how many leg muscles get involved in this simple movement right here. Next time, foot is down, toes are pointed, keeping the toes pointed. Toes lead the way up. Toes reaching for your knee, heel extended, heel leads the way down. So it's reversing that ankle movement. Toes leading the way up, heel leading the way down. Yeah. Perhaps something else has happened. It's not uncommon that neck and jaw, they want to help make this movement, but as you might guess, they're not very helpful. See if you can relax neck and jaw as you keep that leg pointed up towards the ceiling, toes pointed as well, and then making some circles on the ceiling with your big toe, going in both directions. They're not very big circles, kind of teacup, coffee cup size circles, going both ways. All right, let's bring that leg on down. Let it rest on the floor for just a moment. And then go into the other side. Bringing that thigh up now, left leg, thigh perpendicular. Hands are just there to give it some support, keeping it straight up and down. Toes reaching for your knee so that heel leads the way up. Inhale up, toes pointing, exhale down. Yeah, just like we did earlier. Upward movements in general tend to inspire and inhale. Downward movements tend to invite and exhale. And while that's one way to practice, not the only way, just for today, for now, we'll stick with that. Follow that inclination. Next time, leg is down and toes are pointed, then let toes lead the way up. Extend through your heel, heel leads the way down. Yeah, so we're coming to this 90-degree angle in the bent knee. Then we're straightening the leg, reaching the toes up for the ceiling. Next time toes reach up, keeping them up, pointed up. Making a circle on the ceiling, ankle circle. Like your big toe was drawing a circle. Making sure you go in both directions. And if possible, letting neck and jaw just observe. They don't have to be involved. All right, bringing that leg on down. Drawing knees in. And then rolling to one side. Coming up on hands and knees. You guessed it. Traditional yoga pose. Cat pose, cow pose. But in that particular way that starts the movement from your hips. So my hips, like the front of my pelvis, pubic bone area draws down towards the floor, back between my legs. And that invites torso, neck, and head to lift. And then lower back rounding, hips tipping the other way. Invites neck and head to drop. So starting the movement in your hips. Sure, this is a traditional yoga pose. Lower back rounding. Moving from the center of your body. Most physical therapists, athletic trainers, kinesiologists agree, movements that begin closer to the center of your body, those movements are more optimal, more athletic, even more elegant. Last one. And let's meet in a neutral back and stepping forward, fold. Full deep inhale here. And on an exhale, inhale, sweeping up. And arms to the side. All right. So, before we proceed with a lot of standing poses, let's do one of those kind of yoga warm-up exercises. Taking a wide stride with toes pointed more or less out, maybe 30, 45 degrees. And then with hands on hips, on an exhale, bending at knees, hips, and ankles, taking your seat behind you a bit. Inhale, coming back up. So it's exhale down. Inhale up. Yep, following that same natural inclination. Not with the idea that it's the proper way, the right way, the correct way. It's just one way. Maybe another time we practice, we'll switch that around. Next time you're in that bent knee position, squatting down position, bringing hands to heart, then we'll prepare for other standing poses by toning, activating pelvic floor muscles. To do that, lift the heel of your right foot and then lift the heel of your left foot. And we'll set those heels down slow, smooth, steady to the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, contact. And then coming up just a little bit, maybe halfway up, bringing hands to hips. And we'll slide side to side here, extending first the left leg and then the right leg. Yep, pretty much in warm-up mode, preparation mode for standing postures to come. And finding the center. Inhale, coming all the way up. Step in your feet together. I'm going to turn sideways. You can keep facing the way you are. Yeah, that is a nice preparation for, you guessed it, chair pose. So hands on hips, and just like we did a moment ago, starting this movement, yeah, from the center of your body, seat coming back first allows knees and ankles to bend. Exhale, bend. How about inhale, arms straight forward. Separating shoulder blades. Exhale right here. Inhale, coming all the way up. Arms to the side. So it's seat back, exhale, chair pose. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale here. Inhale up. Arms to the side. Let's add the chair twist to that. So on an exhale, seat comes back. Knees bend, ankles bend. And then let's take left hand to right knee. Right hand comes behind. On an exhale, rotating your torso. Twisting to the right. Couple breaths here. Yeah. Just breathing, moving, having our being. On an exhale, come forward. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale, arms up. Inhale, come. Twist into the other side. Yeah, you remember, don't you? Starts here. Exhale, seat comes back. How about right hand to left knee? Left hand comes behind. Opening to the left. Couple breaths here. Perhaps you've already noticed how twisting makes breathing a little bit more difficult. That's one of its benefits. Tones the diaphragm. Makes it work a little bit harder. Exhale, coming forward. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale, arms overhead. Inhale, arms to the side. All right. Let's see. Let's just even out with a half of a sun salutation. So that would be inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, holding. Bit of a lift, inhale. Kind of like the cow pose. Starting from the hips. Exhale, upside down. Sweeping up, inhale. Arms to the side. Taking a wide stride. Right toes turn in, left toes turn out. On an exhale, bending that front knee. And inhale, coming back up and down just a few times. Yeah. So kind of like half of unilateral, one-sided of that same squat we did earlier. Next time the knee is bent, pausing there. On an exhale, tipping at your hips, hips tipping to bring forearm to thigh. And one version of side angle is arms straight up in the air. So free arm, right arm reaching up towards the ceiling. One version of side angle, usually in this position, is to look up. How about if we change that around just for today and look down? Looking forward about 4 or 5 feet in front of that front foot, such that your head, neck, torso, and back leg pretty much in the same line, same angle. First transition is to look forward, bringing that arm down, pushing down to come up. We'll go right away to the other side. Left toes turn in, right toes turn out. Exhale, bending. Inhale, straightening. Next, bent knee position, pausing there. Tipping at your hips, forearm to thigh, arm up in the air, left arm reaching up now. And then turning your gaze to look towards the floor, but not straight down at it, because you want to, best you can, keep head, neck, torso, back, leg pretty much aligned. An exercise in proprioception, learning where your body is in space without the benefit of the mirror. All right, looking forward, bringing the arm down, pushing down to come up, stepping your feet together. One more of those half sun salutations just to even out. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Yep, from the hips, hips tipping, bit of a lift. Inhale, upside down. Exhale, sweeping up, inhale. Arms to the side. All right, taking that wide stride again one more time. Side angle variation number 2. Right toes turn, left toes turn out. Exhale, bend. Tipping at your hips, forearm to thigh. And now rather than arms straight up in the air, swinging that arm so that it reaches in the same diagonal, same line that your back leg is in. Yeah. And now turning your head, your neck to bring your gaze up towards the ceiling. Just a couple breaths here. Bringing your gaze back forward. Arm comes down, pushing down to come up. Toes pointing straight forward. Going right to the other side. Left toes turn in. Right toes turn out. Exhale, bending. Next exhale, tipping at your hips. Forearm to thigh. Swinging that free arm, left arm into the same angle, the same line as created by your back leg. And then turning your gaze to look up towards the ceiling. Bit of a challenge for balance here. One of the embedded benefits. And looking back forward, bringing that upper down, pushing down, stepping your feet together. All right, how about a full sun salutation? Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, fold. Bit of a lift. Inhale, upside down. Exhale, hands and knees. Inhale, and downward facing dog. Inhale, hands. Bringing your knees back just a few inches, such that you can come into that either kneeling plank or full plank. Once again, an opportunity to study proprioception, where your body is in space, trying to find an alignment, angle of the back legs through your hips, through your torso, neck, and head. And then exhale, lowering yourself down. Down, down, down. All the way down. And then pushing right back up. Coming to hands and knees. And downward facing dog. Inhale, hands and knees. Stepping forward, forward, fold. Bit of a lift, inhale. Upside down. Exhale. Sweeping up, inhale. Arms to the side. Yeah. Remember how we started? How that lifting of the breastbone, chin, and gaze kind of inspired an inhale. Let's just do that one more time right here. Lifting of the breastbone, chin, and gaze. Inspires arms sweeping up, inhale. Arms to the side, exhale. Yeah. enjoying that freedom of movement. All right, coming to standing with hands on hips and shifting your weight into the right leg, stepping back with your left foot stepping back a bit. Such that both feet can be comfortably on the floor. And then from that back foot, toes pushing down, lifting the back heel, inspires the front knee to bend. Drawing that back heel towards the floor, brings the front knee straight. So it's inhale, bending, exhale, coming up. Yeah, so my apologies, some sounds in the background, but ordinary sounds. Kids across the street. Not to worry. Another way of perhaps unhooking from what we think is the right way. That overlay. All right, next time front knee is bent, pause there. Taking the front of your pelvis, lifting it up towards the ceiling. Yeah, so that chest lifts just a bit too. And out of that lifting, drawing the back heel down towards the floor. Inhale, arms straight forward. Exhale, arms up overhead. Full deep inhale, recharging the lift. Exhale, hands to heart. Pouring your weight forward, loading that front hip right here so that the back foot can suspend for just a moment before it comes up to meet the other foot. All right. Hands on hips. Got some good grounding, some balance in that right leg. Let's keep that and cross left leg over right. Toes on the floor. Headed for eagle pose, so it's left over right, it's left arm under right. Back of the hands together. On an exhale, fold. Getting ready to fly this eagle. How about a through the mouth, very complete exhale is going to inspire a deeper inhale for the takeoff. Sweeping up. There you go. Yeah. So how'd that go? Eagle take off pretty easily. We got one more opportunity. Shifting your weight into the left leg, stepping back with the right. And same thing here. It's that back heel lifting that invites the front knee to bend. It's the back heel reaching for the floor that brings the front leg straight. Yeah. So where did this particular practice come from? Does it have anything to do with lineages or traditions? Well, yes and no. Next time that front knee is bent, lifting the front of your pelvis up, out of that uplifting pelvis and breastbone, descending the back heel to the floor, like telescoping down. Inhale, arms straight forward. Exhale, arms up overhead. Recharging the lift with an inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Pour and weight forward, loading that front hip, left hip taking more and more and more weight so that the back foot can kind of float right up, slowly meet the front foot, keeping the grounding in that formerly front foot, left foot, as you cross right leg over, And toes can be kickstanded down on the floor. It's not cheating. So it's left over right. It's right over left. It's right under left, isn't it? Yeah. So folding in eagle pose. Eagle pose, really traditional yoga posture. It's part of that tradition for sure, but a lot of good science showing that limbs crossing center line. It's kind of like the reset button for your nervous system. Let's get ready to fly this eagle. Flying the eagle starts with a complete exhale through the mouth exhale. So that the inhale sweeps everything up. Take an eagle. Arms to the side. All right. All right. So let's see here. Let's head for the floor. And we'll be on the floor for most of the rest of the practice. So if for you that means you need to move your iPad or your laptop so you have a better view of the screen, this would be a good time to do that. That's it. Inhale, sweep up. Head for the floor. Exhale, folding. Bit of a lift, inhale. Upside down, exhale. And then come into hands and knees. Bringing those knees back a bit, 4 or 5 inches. And from your knees, just bringing hips forward, aligning knees, hips, shoulders, ears. And on an exhale, lowering yourself all the way down to a prone position. Trying to get your breastbones as close to the floor as possible. Helps to stick your chin out forward first, and then draw chin and nose in so that they're pointing towards the floor, just off the floor. And hands are back by your rib cage, just the fingertips under your shoulders, so that forearms are almost pretty much perpendicular. Now to support your lower back, rotating your legs such that toes point away from each other, heels point together, and actually drawing those heels together. And with a little bit of light pressure, pushing the heels together. Feel how that activates legs, glutes, even lower abdominal muscles, all in the name of stabilizing lower back. So that when you inhale and draw your head and neck forward and come up, most of the lift, good part of the lift comes from legs, glutes, not lower back. Exhale, coming up. Let's try that one more time. There's a lot of elements there. So let's get the legs going, get the support going first, heels pressing together just a bit. And then it's rather than pushing up with your hands, drawing the heel of your hand back so that head and neck come forward a bit, like you're going to slide forward and coming up, up, up. All right. And exhale, coming back on back. Kind of a baby cobra pose. Good place to work. If you'd like a little bit more challenge, that would be next time we come up, we'll lift hands and lighten our legs. Let's give it a try. So with that stability, heels pressing together. On an inhale, heel of the hand draws back, lifting torso, neck, and head. And then it's a little bit more challenge would be lifting those hands, reaching them back towards your feet, palms facing the ceiling. And now legs are already a little bit lighter. Maybe lightening them just enough to bring toes and knees off the floor or light on the floor. Locust pose. Exhale, let's come all the way down and stack your hands one on top of the other and just rest in your forehead there. Nice release for lower back, hamstrings and glutes. And then pressing up to a standing on your knees, kneeling position. Yeah, those of you who have practiced with me for quite some time, you know what's coming here. Yeah, so got my hands on my hamstring muscles, back of my thighs, just so that I can feel when they start to work. And the way to get them to work just a bit is to point your toes straight behind you and then bring the top of your foot, your shin down towards the floor. So top of the feet pressing into the floor activates hamstring muscles. Just like we did in that little back bend on the floor, hamstring muscles are going to stabilize your pelvis so that when you lift breastbone, chin, and gaze, the back bend comes more in the middle of the spine rather than lower back. Place where for most of it is a lot more beneficial. All right. Exhale, bringing your gaze down, bringing your seat back, coming to hands and knees, and coming onto your back, soles of the feet on the floor. Pause for just a moment. Something I apologize for, I neglected to mention earlier. It's going to be helpful to have a strap handy. So if strap is anywhere in the vicinity, now would be the time to grab it. If you're watching the video, go get your strap, or if you don't have a strap, bathroom tie, belt, even longer kitchen towel will work. That's coming up shortly, but not next. So let's just pause a minute for everyone to get that strap while we come onto our back. These bent soles of the feet on the floor. Not quite done with back bends yet. One of the traditional back bends is bridge pose, but bit of a twist, little bit of an introduction. Like we've done so many times before, trying to start that movement in your pelvis. So tipping your pelvis so that lower back contacts the floor, and then following that movement to lift back of the pelvis first, and then one vertebra at a time, spine lifting off the floor, hips coming up towards the ceiling. And now best you can, keeping that pelvic tilt as you exhale and come down one vertebra at a time, seeing that back of the pelvis, sacrum can touch the floor last. Couple more of those. So it's the hip tip first, lower back pressing in, and then from the lower back, lifting one vertebra at a time, and all the way up. And exhale, one vertebra at a time, coming all the way down. Now, this is another one of those places where, even though hamstring muscles, hip muscles, hip flexor muscles, they're all doing a fairly good job. We try to recruit from other areas, and that would be tucking the tailbone. Tucking the tailbone is kind of like clenching your jaw. Doesn't really add, it just almost in a sense gets in the way. So let's just tip our hips, lower back imprinting into the floor. You know that you can do that without tucking your tailbone. Coming back to neutral lower back. Next time we tip our hips. Hips tipping, lower back contacting. Tailbone relaxed, released as you lift your hips. Spine coming off the floor. One vertebra at a time. All the way up. Pausing here for a moment. And on an exhale, coming all the way down. Tailbone still relaxed, not tucking. All the way down. All right. Here's where that strap is going to come in handy. So grabbing long ends of the strap, two ends of the strap, one end of the strap in each hand, extending your right leg out along the floor, and bringing that strap over the ball of the left foot. So it's right at the base of my toes. One end of the strap in each hand and extending that leg up towards the ceiling. Before you do lots of pulling and pushing here, lots of effort, just seeing where that leg lands in a kind of a natural position before we try to push and pull and use a lot of effort. And now pushing your foot into the strap like you were pushing on the accelerator of your car. And then with that activation in the foot and the leg, drawing the leg back in, back towards your head, just an inch or two. Taking both ends of the strap in the left hand, extending right arm out to the side, bringing that leg out to the side too. But only to the place where you begin to feel hips tip. Hips start to tip. Find that tipping point. And then on an inhale, bringing the foot back up. Let's explore that one more time. So we're going out to the side, but leg isn't coming all the way to the floor. We're finding the tipping point. On an exhale, leg out to the side. Finding the tipping point is the best place to work, cultivating strength over range of motion. Inhale, coming back up. And then letting that leg come on down. We could go right away to the other side. So I like to just step into that strap so that the strap is up around the ball of my foot. So when I press on the accelerator, another word for the strap, I get a little bit more benefit in hamstring muscles in the leg. So drawing that foot up, once again, before you do lots of pulling, pushing your forefoot into the strap. To activate hamstring muscles stay strong as you ask them to get longer, drawing the leg in. As you ask them to stay long, grabbing both ends of the strap in the right hand, extending your left arm out. Finding that tipping point, leg out to the side, knowing that tipping point is where you can really cultivate strength over range of motion. Inhale, then leg back in. Out and in, one more time. Strength over range of motion is the definition of functional mobility. Inhale, drawing that leg back in and taking that down. Pausing for just a moment here. Bit of a rest. And then drawing legs in. And drawing those legs, those knees in towards your chest. And bring the knees wide so that soles of the feet come together. Reaching up with your hands to grab ankles or shins. And once again, before we do lots of pulling here, rather than pulling in with your hands, your arms, it's just resting as you take knees away from each other, taking knees away from each other. See how that invites legs to rotate out to the side just a bit. Holding for this next full deep inhale. And exhale, releasing, bringing feet to the floor. And then crossing right leg over left thigh. And then reaching in behind the lower leg, thigh, left leg thigh. Draw that in towards your chest. And again, rather than lots of pulling, lots of pushing, drawing that crossed over leg, knee of that leg drawing out of the hip. There you go. So that it rotates ever so slightly forward as you draw the other leg in. And a bit of an experiment. That crossed over leg, crossed over foot, pointing your toes, flexing your toes. Toes pointing away from your knee, toes pointing towards your knee. What, if any, deep hip movement is inspired by movement of the ankle, toes pointing and flexing? All right. Let's go to the other side. Both feet on the floor, crossing left ankle over right thigh, drawing that right thigh in a bit. And then it's this crossed over leg, taking that knee out of the hip, out away. Invites it to rotate forward just a bit. And then we can explore a little bit deeper by pointing and flexing the toes. Giving those deep hip muscles a little bit of toning and elasticity. And then bringing the foot on down, both legs on down. Drawing knees in towards your chest. Just rocking on your lower back for a few breaths. Maybe circling, maybe rocking back and forth, knees drawn in, knees extending out. And feeling the release of lower back into the floor. And then rolling up onto your left side, like you're going to sleep on your left side, with those knees drawn up, tucked in, and your left hand extended out. Keep on those knees drawn in, tucked in, as you take that right arm up towards the ceiling and rotate your chest, opening your torso, extending out through that right hand, suspending that arm off the floor. Remember earlier, I suggested that in a twist, it's a little bit harder to breathe. Twists are very traditional. But experimenting here, internal inquiry, just noticing how the twist affects your breathing. And on an exhale, first bringing that arm all the way back over, like close the clamshell. And then we'll go to the other side, just rolling up and over. Knees stay tucked in, opening your torso towards the ceiling, extending that now left arm out. Knees stay tucked in. Nice opening for chest, shoulders. Even unwinding fascia in the arm, especially if that arm is suspended off the floor. Full deep inhale and exhale, coming all the way back over before you come center onto your back with knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor. And one more time, just visiting that hip tip. Tipping your hips so that lower back contacts the floor. Bit of a release. And then coming to neutral lower back. Either stand right here with knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor, or you could extend those legs straight out, whichever is more comfortable. Spending just a couple breath cycles here, maybe 30 seconds or so. With eyes closed. Letting your body absorb all that it has experienced over the last hour. One of these next exhales, letting it be like a sigh of relief exhale. Through the mouth, full exhale. See how that invites a deeper inhale. And opening your eyes. First transition, if legs are straight, would be bending your knees. Otherwise, it's just rolling to one side and coming seated. Yeah. Taking your time to come seated. We'll just wait for everyone to join us. And once we're all seated, let's take a collective inhale, sweeping arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Namaste. Thank you for coming to practice with me. Hopefully without much of an overlay of what the practice could be, should be. Just moving and breathing. All right.